let me say this before I start. Yeah, I know y'all gonna see a picture of Tracy Morgan with a red rose. When I talk about some celebrities, especially with my rest in peace tributes, of course Tracy Morgan's still alive. I always juxtapose the person with their state flower. And so the state flower for New York, to my knowledge, is the rose. So you'll see that photo with Tracy Morgan and the rose. So just want to give y'all that heads up. I was always going to speak on this, but I waited for more information to come out. So we all know the drill. Tracy Morgan's leaving a game. He's confronted by someone from his past who once bullied him, and then he's telling everybody around him before he confronts the bully. This dude used to talk all kind of this, and the man's like, "Come on, I'm hungry, my boy. Can you help out?" La la la. On the surface, it looks like Tracy Morgan is someone who cannot forgive someone who wronged him years ago. And we can go into the conversation if y'all like that forgiveness is for you and not for the other person. But then Tracy is pointing at the man and then walk off and say, "I ain't got nothing to do with that, with you being homeless." So to a lot of people, this has divided us because some people are saying that was crass. God spared your life. Why can't you give compassion as a result of the fact that you nearly was unalived and God restored you? And some are like, you have the money, you could just give him a little bit of something. Where there are other people on the side that's like, screw it. When you do things in life and you are not repentant, why do you think you should not suffer the consequences? And really, why should you not suffer consequences, repentant or not? Life is full of consequences for your actions. Here's the bad news. Both sides are correct, okay? It's an amalgamation of all those things. Before I get into how I would have handled it, and this is just me, it's just a free talk. This is why I started to become more empathetic towards Tracy. Not so much because I was bullied myself. And I don't have to deal with them anymore. Them folk back in Alabama, I'm clean out here in Washington State. I'm all the way across the country away from the people who tortured me. And when I go home, I just slip in. So here's the reason far as Tracy's concerned. I was glad I waited for this. So I watched a video on Hype TV a few minutes ago. Apparently there's a tweet going around, if they still call it that. Twitter tweet, Meta X. I get all that mess mixed up. Never had a Twitter account before it became X or whatever it is. That's saying that it is known in New York that both Tracy and this guy were comedians together, despite the fact the guy was bullying Tracy, and that the guy is known to have received help from Tracy several times in the past, and that he just has drug issues he can't overcome. This changes the entire dynamic. Go watch that Hype TV because they had the whole tweet up at the middle to the end of the video. Why does this matter? If it is true that Tracy Morgan had helped this guy in the past and he's still asking for money 15 years later, what's going on that you're still struggling? And I'm not trying to lack empathy or compassion, because homelessness is not something that's easy to come out of. And New York State don't make it easy for people, because New York is a very expensive state. Here is my verdict of how I would have handled it before I say why I think and understand and empathize with Tracy Morgan. Now that I know that this goes back 15 years, way past their high school days. So here's the thing. If it were me, and this was a first incident, whether you want to shame me on camera or not, say, hey man, look, here's this. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself something good to eat or something. I wish you the best. I hope the best for you. But it would be a one and done for me. My empathy and compassion are going to stop at prayer after that. And they hope that you find things. And if I was in the vicinity of resources, lead you in the right direction to get your life on path. But if I was at Tracy Morgan's wealth, that's going to be a one and done. And then that's the end of it, because you're not going to keep circling back because I bust my butt to get where I did and you didn't make it. If it were me, I'm feeding the man. That's just me now, because that's first encounters. Given that that person put that tweet out, if that's true, that means Tracy has helped this dude behind the scenes before this started, and he keeps circling back. If that is true, then now what we're dealing with is the audacity to be entitled. For Tracy to be that angry, he was probably tired of that man asking him for money. Because as is, he probably outstretched his hand many times despite the fact that man bullied him. And now this coming and humiliating him after a game in front of people, now that Tracy's famous, is an extension of the humiliation that Tracy faced as a child. Don't get it twisted. I believe this man is homeless like that tweet says. I believe he has mental issues. I also equally believe that he went on camera playing the formal beleaguered classmate to gain sympathy. And because Tracy had kept helping him far back as 15 years, he knew how to push that button and get Tracy to go off on camera. That way, because most of us didn't know the backstory of the time, people can say, oh, Tracy Morgan is a jerk. I understand. Some of y'all, based on that, are still going to dislike this man. Well, he still could have handled that because he the one that famous. No. That dude knew exactly where he was. This was a calculated move, whether they had that 15-year relationship or not. It's just that tweet on that hype video by John Alba is just more proof that he staged that to make Tracy look bad after Tracy had helped him behind the scenes going back 15 years. Y'all, that's more than a decade. That's a sufficient enough time for somebody to get their stuff together. And then Tracy Morgan himself lived in public housing and brought himself up. And look, let me stop you, because I don't believe in that concept anymore of you can pull yourself up from your bootstraps. But don't take the boots from the person who bust their butt to get there either. Then in that interview with John Alba at the same time, it was something about Tracy Morgan saying he was mistreated by a SNL castmate named Sherry O'Terry and then another guy, Catan. By the time Tracy Morgan was on SNL, I didn't watch it much anymore, so I didn't pay much attention. Now, he said Molly Shannon was nice, and most people say that what you see is what you get with Molly Shannon, that she really is a nice person in real life, that when the cameras are off, that really is who she is, that she lives on that constant state. I was going to say grind, that's the wrong word, constant state of humility. It's quite clear that Tracy Morgan never forgets how you treat him. I also feel low-key that he holds grudges. From the standpoint I'm in, that's not okay, because I don't even do that. Is it okay that that's the approach he took? Yes, because we only know what we see on camera. We don't know everything. Do I think he holds grudges? Yes. Here's why I empathize with him. When you're not there for somebody's struggle, don't roll up on their success. And don't sit here and try to stage something to make someone feel something they don't feel when you know that those people don't have the whole story. They only have the benefit of the present. And in the present, all they saw was Tracy Morgan go off. That 15-year backstory, and then because he's a little bit older, it could go further than this. Give context into why Tracy went off the way he did. This is why I waited for this. If it were me and the first time that happens, I'm going to give the person something and say, hey, I wish you all the best. Did you need any resources, anything? But I'm going to pray for you, and that's a one and done. Not because I'm holding on to the past, because I think when people say forgive or forget, the forgive part you need to get to. That's not going to be easy, and I know it's going to make people mad. But even me having a more Christian belief, I don't think you should forget. Because those situations should make you stronger and teach you how to deal with life. The fact that Tracy Morgan hasn't forgotten is not the issue. It's the fact that his reaction can give the appearance that he's given these people power over him for how they treated him. Life is gonna life and people gonna mistreat you. And I know for me, who was relentlessly bullied from K to 12, and I'm not making this about me, but what I'm saying is that I can empathize. That forgiveness is not an easy road. It's not an easy thing to do at all. There were years when I didn't visit Alabama because I didn't even want to run into those people. If I saw them now, which quite a few I've run into, I wouldn't care. And I didn't care when I ran into one that was acting nice and talked about how much weight I gained, but that person was nice to me, but in school she acted like she didn't want to be nowhere near me, like I was diseased. I'm like, life went on. I'm going to get on the plane back to Washington and go live my life. You better be careful of how you treat people when they're younger. Because they are under no obligation once they hit a certain pinnacle of success to forgive you at all. And when you get to Tracy's level, you need to know when to cut the purse strings or not just ever give any at all, depending on the circumstances. Even myself, if I know you're homeless and I grew up with you and you come ask me for something and I know for a fact you're a drug addict and this is going to be controversial, I'm not giving you a dime. Because I refuse to contribute to your drug habit. I believe that man was hungry. I believe he was also had schizophrenia, like that one person said. But I find it hard to believe that Tracy Morgan is the only person he's ever mistreated. Why did you have to wait for Tracy? Where's your own family? And why are they not extending to you? And where are the other comics that came up with y'all? Why are they not extending this help? What if you are the common denominator and Tracy Morgan just lost his cool and got tired of you? That's what it's seeming like more to me. All right. Before I let y'all go, here's the thing. When people do stuff to you when you're young, just know that you technically don't owe them anything because life is gonna life. I grew up, like I said, all of us listening right now grew up with people who wore designer brand name clothes, who were on top of their class. They were the jock, they were the cheerleader, they were the everything. They were the school princess, they were Prince Charming. You look back on your life, you're significantly doing better than they are now. And you're not doing this to boast or brag. You're just speaking truth to power, or even if you don't speak it, you think it. You're not responsible for the decisions those people made as they got older. Tracy Morgan isn't responsible for what he turned out to be. There's a myriad of reasons outside of Tracy Morgan that man could be homeless. And the fact that the other comics that know them and other people that know them, while they're not talking bad about Tracy, they're not trying to help him either. I wonder why that is. I don't like to see anybody starve. We live in what's called the free world. And I say that in quotations, and no one should starve. But knock off the exhibitionism and making people look bad in public because what you perceive they owe you. I hate to tell you, as much as I would have helped him one time, Tracy Morgan is entitled to say, you owe you, I don't owe you. All right, been beating this dead horse. I may not get many views because people have been talking about this. The bottom line is, whether you owe these people or not, don't give them power over you. I've prayed about it. That may not be everybody's thing, but find a healthy way to deal with those people so that they don't get under your skin and ruin things for you in the future. All right. Thank y'all for listening. Take care.